Hey, welcome back to another Mike and Renee Show.
Hey, and so today we're gonna just look at the numbers that we're pulling actually every day
Right.
for the 7 days prior, and that's just basically numbers that we posting on our Instagram channel once a week. But like I just said, we're pulling them every day, and there's actually an interesting trend. So first, the numbers in the last 7 days. How many actives do we had, Renee?
So we had new listings, 624 that came on in the Tri-County area. So that's, again, Sacramento, El Dorado, and Placer counties. Those are the three main counties that we work in.
Right, and interestingly enough, so we pulled these numbers now since April 21. Again for the week prior.
Mm-hmm.
So really since April, what would that be? The 13th through
Right.
the 20th, right?
Yes.
And while they were in the mid 500s back then, they kind of dipped towards the end of April into the 400s. And now this month, or this week rather,
Mm-hmm.
we saw an actual interesting uptick into the mid 600s.
Right. And we're seeing that in our own personal business as well.
Yeah.
Definitely our active inventory is starting to increase as well, which, again, we've got a lot of buyers that are looking to take advantage of these low interest rates. And so it's good news for them that there'll be more homes to choose from.
Okay, so let's pick up at the pendings. That's 640, which are outpacing the actives again, which means there's more pressure on the inventory.
Because again, buyers are anxious and have been
Right.
watching the market,
Mhm.
and so we're seeing that normal buyer activity that people want to have in the spring market. We're seeing that happening, just again on a little bit lower scale than normal, but buyers are still anxious. So 640 of them got into contract last week.
That's right. And then the solds in the last 7 days were 338 for the three counties.
Yes.
That's if you do the math, and because I geek out with numbers,
Yes,
of course.
of course you do.
That's about 50 sales because if you average it out, it's about in the mid 300s every 7 day period.
Mhm.
50 sales every day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not bad. And I mean, it's not as high as it could be. And at the same time, I think we kind of stabilize and normalize, and that at least that's a baseline that we can work with,
Yes.
right? So last month or last week, rather, we talked about forbearance, and that we wanted to dive a little bit deeper into that.
Yeah, and I just saw an interesting article yesterday, actually from Housing Wire, thanks to our business coach Beth Inkervati. So shout out to Beth. And their numbers were pretty staggering. I was quite surprised, and I want to tie this into a seller that we're working with currently too, and just share some of the concerns that we have when people see these opportunities to have debt kind of pushed out. That you're doing that for the right reasons and only when it's really 100% necessary. But according to the Federal Housing Finance Agency, there were 1 million people that were officially in forbearance as of yesterday
Okay, that's
in the
crazy.
United States.
Okay.
Yes.
Now,
Yep.
for those that don't know, forbearance it's not a forgiveness, right?
No.
It's basically just a bank, and I actually took this from somebody that explained it really well. He's a mortgage lender. He said that the banks or the servicers, really all they do is they can change the amount that you owe. The only thing that they can do is for a short period of time, change the time when you owe it.
Right.
So in other words, right, what the most common forbearance right now, I think, is the 90-day forbearance.
Right. So basically, they push out your payments where you can opt to not make a payment for the next 90 days. And every bank is a little bit different with their program. But then at the end of that 90 days, they say, okay, glad that you were able to take advantage of that. Glad we were able to help you. And here's your repayment program. And you owe us, let's just say you have a $2,000 mortgage. You owe us $6,000 now for the last 3 months. How would you like to cover that? Did you want to pay that all today? Or do you want to spread that out over the next 12 months? Or do you want us to just go ahead and tack that on to the end of your loan? In any event, though, it is not forgiveness. It's just a postponement of
Right.
that debt payoff.
And it's not a loan modification like many people may
Right.
think, right?
Yes.
So, and the more important part, though, that I think we should address is that if you can figure out a different way than a forbearance, please do it, because you're going to take yourself out of the buying a house market or refinancing a market for the last at least 12 months. Most banks really 24 months. They look at this almost like a foreclosure or a bankruptcy, right?
Yep. It's really serious. And so just to bring it to a personal story, we have a client right now that he was thinking about downsizing. He and his wife, their kids are grown and moved and bought houses of their own now. And they live here in El Dorado Hills. And so we've been talking about them selling their house since August of last year, off and on. And they had stuff come up and it kept getting delayed. Well, they reached out pretty frantically in the last 2 weeks and said, okay, we really have to make this happen. And he is a very skilled person. He's got a great job. He works in a hospital. And well, like we're hearing from a lot of our clients that are nurses and doctors, his hours have been cut dramatically. So they haven't furloughed him, and they aren't paying him for time that he's not working, but he's gone from 40 plus hours a week to 4 hours a week. And being being in a 4,000 square foot house, he's like, we can't afford to keep paying it. And so we started talking about their goals and dreams and what they really want to do. And they want to get closer to family, like so many of our clients do. And they want something much, much smaller. And so I said, so, we want to sell this, take the equity, put it into something else, pay off some other bills, and, buy another home. And he said, and our bank agreed to let us do a forbearance. And I said, time out. You really, if you can swing making your payment, I said, I know it's going to be hard and it's going to make things really tight for you guys, and you're going to have to dip into savings. And if you don't do that, you're not going to be able to buy a home. So you're going to put yourself in the rental market for the next year or 2 years, like Mike said, just for taking postponement of 1 or 2 months on that mortgage payment. So really look at your overall bigger goals, dive into your finances, see, what you can and can't do. If there isn't another option,
then I think it's a good option, right?
Yeah, but if there isn't one, it's great that there is this forbearance available with a lot of the lenders right now. And even though they're saying it's not going to affect your credit, I just don't see how they're going to not have that happen. Yeah,
I mean, your forbearance. So maybe your credit score is great, but what good does it do you if you have a forbearance on your credit report? Right, that's not going to impact your rate, your score, but it'll keep you from refinancing, taking advantage of low interest rates. I mean, just think about, you get a promotion in 6 months and you want to upgrade your home and you can't.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. So call us if you have questions on that, or reach out to one of our amazing local lenders here. And if you need a good contact, please let us know. And we'll be keeping up on all of that and what that means for the market, and hopefully the 30 million people that are out of work at this moment, as we start to see things open up, hopefully they all get back to work too. Right. And then this will just be a little bump in the road. Exactly. And not a big dip.
Right. And as always, please, if you find this helpful, subscribe to our channels and comment below with questions you may have about this episode or any upcoming episodes or ideas for episodes.
Yes.
Quite frankly.
Yes, we'll take it all.
All right.
So
thank you guys.
Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
See you next time.